The story of sugar in Trinidad dates back to the plantations of the 18th century. The northeasterly winds that caress the sugarcane arrows and make the traveler's palms dance are the same that energize the plantation economies necessary to fuel the labor-intensive sugar industry. Powering ships, sugar, rum and human cargo through the triangular trade, the wind tells sugar's story of migration. Different types of labor, Amerindians, Europeans, Africans, Chinese and Indians, all contributing to the development of sugar as a main economic contributor to a nation's development.
Most of our workers depended on colony. I was successful in obtaining my objective in life. That is working, sustaining my children, and also my parents work in Caroni. They came from India as small.
Built on the backs of African slave labor during the 18th and early 19th centuries, and then by East Indian indentures of the period 1845 to 1917, sugar created a living culture drawn from the cuisine, religion, social practices, celebrations, rhythms and languages that made the journey with the immigrants and transformed an old heritage into a socio-economic engine simply known as Caroni.
From 1781 right up into the 20th century, sugar has been the major motivator, the prime mover of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is only, as I said, from around 1910 that oil began to increasingly take over, displacing sugar. But the point is that even with the oil economy that we developed from the early 20th century, it was on the basis of a society developed on sugar.
Caroni Limited and its successor, Caroni 1975 Limited, and their sugar estates and factories stand at the center of a socio-economic sugar culture that has significantly contributed to a national identity. The Sugar Heritage Village and Museum project at Brechin Castle in Couva will record the historical and cultural legacy of a centuries-old industry, which brought together many races, cultures, and traditions.
The culture was the plantation culture. That's the culture in which Africans were socialized into. And when the Indians came as replacement to the Africans, they were socialized into the very same plantation system. And that went on right up to 1920, when East Indian indentureship was abolished.
Led by the Ministry of Tourism, the project also has the support of the Ministry of Arts and Multiculturalism, the lead agency for the development of the Sugar Museum, the village's main attraction, the University of Trinidad and Tobago, the National Gas Company, National Energy Company of Trinidad and Tobago, University of the West Indies, the European Union and the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs will also play a major role in the development of the property.
We are here at the site of what will be the museum that will form part of the Sugar Heritage Village and Sugar Museum. This building used to be the Human Resources Office when Caroni was operating. Prior to that, it used to be the house of the general manager of Caroni. That was when Caroni was under Tate and Lyle. It has a lot of history to it. It is said that Princess Margaret came here on vacation. Its architecture is really European, Spanish and Italian and part English as well. And it's an ideal building to house the museum.
The Sugar Museum is a very important part of the whole project, because in the Sugar Museum we are going to house 200 years of the artifactual history of the sugar industry. And most of these artifacts we have already secreted, we have hidden them in all kinds of places, so that once the building is ready we are going to move immediately. And I'm seeing that that Sugar Museum being fully operative within a year.
Intended to capture, archive, preserve and showcase the legacy of the industry, the Sugar Heritage Village and Museum project will also recreate a living legacy of the many traditions that mirror the soul of the industry. The The project is expected to be built in several phases and will eventually occupy over 500 acres and will include a sugar museum to be housed at the Sevilla House, a sugar heritage village rich with plantation-era artifacts, an archive and documentation center, a project already underway to record the sugar heritage in written documents and audiovisual recordings, capturing the industry in the voices, images and memories of those who helped shape the heritage, a replica sugar factory, grinding cane from small farmers and producing fresh sugarcane juice and unprocessed block sugar for sale and use within the heritage village, a handicraft and artisan center that sells pottery, musical instruments, hand painting with henna and tattoo work, sporting facilities that will include the Sevilla Golf Course, lawn tennis court and swimming pool, a recreational park where families can enjoy train rides and animal pull cart rides. The 4 existing cooling ponds will be stocked with fish for recreational fishing, cooking, kayaking and other water sports. An auditorium and cultural center for lectures, workshops and seminars associated with the sugar culture and for events and performances during the various festivals celebrated by sugar workers. A multi-purpose conference center and small guest house facilities. Already completed and sits at the entrance to Brechin Castle is the Visitor Information Center. By collating, protecting and showcasing the intangibility of a unique economic and social culture that shaped our history, we create a new tourism product, a place for recreation, contemplation, history and national pride. The Sugar Heritage Village and Museum adds to tourism's impressive collection of sites and attractions. With sugar, we as Trinidadians and Tobagonians have had the opportunity to appreciate the richness of the fabric our society is woven from, to reap the rewards of struggle, to travel from barracoon to boardroom. Through sugar, we affirm that Trinidad and Tobago is sweet. Preserving this valuable historical and cultural heritage, the Sugar Heritage Village and Museum project will reinforce our reality.
The atmosphere, the people that you meet, and then moving from one section to another section and so on, you meet quite a lot of people with a different type of cultures and so on. But you work like a family. You work like, that's it. You devoted your whole time because it's true that this is what you depend on. And you made it your career. And you work with everyone in various departments and so on. And it was enjoyable working in the days gone in Caroni Limited.
These are the lands upon which the sons and daughters of Guinea, Dahomey and Benin created Brechin Castle, Bastohol, Milton, Forest Park and Waterloo, carving a whole culture of sugar, dominating the landscape of central and southern Trinidad. So when the breeze blows across Brechin Castle now, we stand unbowed, confident in who we are and firmly rooted in this land that made us.